All right, guys. It's another story with my granddad. Man, I could talk all day about this guy, but this is the one. This is the one that stood out the most in my mind. That just So there was a guy that worked for my granddad. His name, funny enough, I don't remember his first name, but his name was Mug. They called him Mug. I don't know why they call him that, but that was his name. Mug Mug. So Mug was one of those situations where his mother and his father, they just couldn't afford to take care of him. I don't know what it was, but it, things like this happen in life in Jamaica a lot. And my grandfather was taking a lot of people like that. He was one of them guys because of his situation with his father and struggling. He always had a heart and compassion for people. And he always, no matter where you are in life or how messed up you are, he could see the good in you. And he could also see the good inside him, but he knew how to control that and not be run over or to be a bleeding heart. So he was compassionate, kind, but fair and firm. And that's one of the times I remember vividly. So there's another family, another wealthy family called the Malcolms. They had like 600 head of cattle. Okay? They had a whole heap of cattle. They had cattle, and they also owned the hardware store, and they were also in sugar just like us, and they were in cattle just like us. If you match us up against them, I'd say we had an equal amount of wealth or whatever. I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. But nonetheless, the two families had money. You get the picture. So here it is now. Mug fell in with the wrong crowd. Some guys from out of town came in and they were looking for cattle to steal. Right? So these guys started shaking down Mug to steal our cattle, right? This is why this is third hand information here, so don't hold me to it. Shaking down Mug to steal our cattle. Now instead of Mug saying, hey, you know what? Let me go tell my boss what's going on. These guys were some heavy hitters. They probably were very dangerous. They probably was gonna kill Mug or whatever. I don't know what he got himself into. Mug gets the brilliant idea. You know what? Instead of stealing the Simpsons cattle, I'll go show the guys where the Malcolms keep their cattle, and that way I won't be in trouble with this man that raised me from the ground like a dad that took me in. The Malcolms, yeah, they're not that close to me. It won't hurt me that much. These bad guys will be off my back. Instead of manning up and making the right decision and saying, you know what, guys, hell no, I'm going to the cops. You guys going down. Mug made a bad decision, right? So but the Malcolms, yeah, boy, those guys, they just like my granddad. I guess birds of a feather flock together. They're not stupid. They know it's butchering season, so they were out there in the field. Those guys pull up in the truck, and the Malcolms wait until the guys round up about 30 head of cattle on a truck, and they were pulling out. Then the Malcolms pull down on them, guns blazing, flashlights everywhere, whooping ass so bad. They got all the guys, they tied them up, and they beat the living daylight out of them. Now you are thinking, oh, it's like an American beating where they punch you in the face and kick you in the stomach and pack, 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 elbow, punch, punch. No, no. That's not what it was. It's an old fashioned whoop ass. They tied him to a tree and pulled him up like a slave, stripped off all his clothes and took a bullwhip. Now I don't know if you guys ever seen a bullwhip before, but whipping a moving cow along, it's a special talent. It took me a long, long, long time to learn to use the bullwhip. As a matter of fact, I probably still have a scar somewhere here on my face where the bullwhip, I went like this and it hit me and just took a nice little chunk of skin out of my face. Nice little chunk. I mean, I don't know if this is the one or this is the one right here. No, this is that one. This is probably another experience. I'll tell you about that later. But it took a nice little chunk of skin off of me. That's how deadly the bullwhip is. And when you walking cows up, you go, yeah, yeah. And when the cattle hear that whip, that whatever they're doing, whoa, they fall in line and they move because they know that thing No matter, a cowhide is really tough, but that bullwhip boy. So imagine a human skin, man. The Malcolms, they tore Muggs back up, old fashioned slave whooping. This guy pooped and peed on himself. They whooped him so bad. They beat the crap out of him. After pooping and peeing on himself, he passed out. Then he was locked up. Then they put him in jail, waiting for the trial. Now let me tell you something, man. My grandfather, there is 3 types of people that he doesn't like. I'll give you the first one, rapist. Second one is thief. And the third one is liars. He really, I mean, his mindset was those guys should be killed on spot. Maybe some room for the liars, but the rapists and the thieves, there's no room for them. He killed them on spot. Liars, you can whip into shape and teach them integrity, but first 2 you gotta kill on spot. Okay? So, check this out. When my grandfather heard what happened to Mug, I mean, I could just see the pain in my grandfather. There's a few times in his life I've seen him in that much pain. But, me show how legendary this guy is. When they told him the news, he just took a minute. He said, Querejo. Querejo. You see, that's that Cuban Spanish coming out of him. He said, Querejo. Then he said, all right, where is he? They took him to him. When they got there, my grandfather said to the jailer, is it okay if I go in and dress his wounds and bandage him? Can we do that? And the jailer said, no, you can't do that, you know. But let me tell you something, man. Because of the kind of influential man and the man of integrity my grandfather was, the jailer thought about it at a second time when my grandfather asked nicely. I said, I'm just trying to help him. Please. They let my grandfather go in the jail. And my grandfather had lots of people working for him on a daily basis. He could have sent somebody to go there to do it. But he went personally himself. He could have gotten somebody else. He could say, okay, fine, let me get a nurse from the medical center. Let me get somebody else to do it. My grandfather went in there with his own 2 hands, cleaned this joker's messed up body, poop, pee and all, wiped him up, rolled him over onto his stomach, wiped the wounds of his back, got blood all over his hands, dressed him, clothed him, set him up right, left there. For the next couple of days, went back and checked on him, made sure he was good. And nobody harm came to him. Asked the Malcolms for his sake to let the beef slide. Went to court and spoke to them on Mug's behalf. Because Mug was like a son to him. You understand? When it was all over and they released Mug, the day they released him, my grandfather said, listen to me, man. Don't ever, as long as you live, come near me or my family again. Don't ever come near the Malcolms. Don't ever come near no one that know me. If you see me or my kids in the street, you look the other way. And what I'm telling you is so important that your life depends on it. Don't ever come near me again or my family. Cast Mug out. Mug turned and walked. If Mug saw me to this day, I knew I was. Mug would not say nothing to me because that's how legendary my grandfather was. It would cost him his life. You understand? But my grandfather, that's how passionate and compassionate he was. He took care of Mug himself. But I can tell you, When my grandfather loved somebody, he loved them without restraint. That really hurt him. That to have to drive somebody out like that out of his life, that really hurt him. That really hurt him. That really, I mean, after that moment, he went home and he had a quiet place that he'd go and sit by himself. He had two quiet places. One was just a regular sit by himself where you could go and talk to him and disturb him and have fun with him and hang out, read a newspaper with him, put your fingers through his hair, put his hat on and sit in his lap, drink his coffee and just hang out and play. But he had another quiet place. When he went there and sat down, you know straight up, don't disturb him. He's going through something that he's working to. Just leave him alone. Wait for him to go to the other quiet place where he'll have candy in his pocket and you could play with him. But once he was in that spot, leave him alone. And I mean, he went to that spot and he was there for a good hour and a half, processing the pain and the hurt that that experience put him through. But that's how disciplined and restrained he was in himself, that he would not let his good kindness or his compassionate side get the best of him. He would not let people walk over him and take him as a softy because he was good inside and a decent person. He had so much self-restraint that he would not allow this guy, even though it was a stupid mistake, and he loved him like a son, own flesh and blood, that he would not allow that to endanger the rest of his family, himself, or anybody else in his life. So even if he had to go against himself internally, he would do it because that's how restrained he was. Very disciplined guy. Legend!